we interrupt this program to bring you Courage, the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage, the Cowardly Dog.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. As you can see from the thumbnail and the title, this is going to be a little bit of getting to know me while you guys watch me sculpt Courage. So, of course, I'm Dee, and this is D Realm. So, I originally tried my hand at daily sculpting, and Courage was one of those characters that I'm like, oh, it should be easy. It was not as easy as I thought. As you can see, I gathered all my reference images, and for some reason it took me a long time to understand that reference images were not quote-unquote cheating. So I just originally started with trying to match another 3D sculpt, but I wanted to do something closer to 2D to 3D. It's kind of what I want to major in. I want to basically take a 2D image and turn it into a 3D image, kind of like Polygon does. So I used a combination of all my reference images to kind of see what the other artists did, and I'll see if I can find out who actually scoped that and add it to the video. But right now, I'm just working on the feet. At first, they were kind of sharp. Now I'm just kind of rounding them out. And I've been doing ZBrush for about 2 years now, on and off. I would have to say, if I was to sum it all up, I would say maybe a year and 3 months. And I think it took me about a week to finish Courage, but that's including 1 hour every day until I had free time on the weekend to sit down and sculpt for more than an hour. So right here, I think I was looking for something I couldn't remember, but I ended up kind of just going in and enlarging his lips and working on his nose. And I learned that I just kind of play around with ZBrush, so I learned that if you take a circle and you kind of just flatten it out and use like the tools in deformation, you can kind of make something closer to Courage's nose, and then just tweak it. And that's all ZBrush is. It's a little tweaking here, a little tweaking there until you're satisfied. I decided to do this voiceover, just no script, just going for it. But I find it kind of funny that I say it until you're satisfied, because I don't ever really find myself satisfied with what I sculpt. And I've seen a couple of creators. I watch a lot of people sculpt on ZBrush. But I've seen a lot of people just like, oh, okay, that's it, it's done. And I was like, oh, they're so confident in their completion of it. It's like, ooh, I don't know when I want to get there, but I enjoyed doing Courage. Like carving away here at the eyes, I kind of was going for, because it's a 2D image, I was going for my idea of how his eyes would sit. Then after a while, I realized that the eyes, even if you wanted them to, if I wanted them to bulge out like that, they still don't kind of match Courage. So I ended up flattening them down later on, because it's like no matter how much I tweak the nose, the eyes interfered with the nose too much, and it kind of started making Courage not look like Courage.
Stupid dog!
And it's just me building back up, and this is me kind of flattening the eyes back some. So I find what works best for me when I accidentally start doing something without symmetry on. Because if you saw, I accidentally started changing one eye and not the other one. I just keep changing the side I was working on until I'm satisfied, and then I just duplicate and mirror instead of trying to fix the other side. So right here, I noticed that his mouth kind of curved in really hard in some pictures, and it did not in other pictures. So I ended up deciding that I didn't want his mouth open, So all of that curve I fixed kind of just, it went away. Going in for the tail. I didn't know how I wanted to make the tail at first, so I just started pulling. I grabbed the mold tool and I kind of just started tugging away at the tail until I got something I was satisfied with. This is me. I think I kept trying to remind myself that go back to as low poly as possible. But for me, I like a little bit of like medium poly, maybe early on. I'll start like with the very first thing, low poly, and I'll instantly jump to something like medium, couple thousand. I'm slowly working on going like back to the very low poly and getting everything put in place, and then slowly raising the poly count. But it makes my brain feel weird. And so here, just putting in the eyeballs, testing them out to see how they're gonna look. Smoothing out the sides and adding a little catch light. And I didn't like it. I don't know, when it comes to putting eyes in a character, I'm always like, I'll save it for last. Even though I get the general idea of where the eyes go. Once I kind of put them in, I end up just kind of getting rid of them until I'm satisfied with everything else. A little bit more about me. I have a shop called Derail on Etsy where I sell some of the things I make. I also love crafting. I am kind of those I'm one of those people who have a box for all the crafts they've ever tried. I was actually contemplating selling the things that I don't craft anymore. I always wonder that how come people don't just sell them? Maybe eventually they'll get back to it. That's their answer. That's my answer. So here with Courage Hands,
Stupid dog!
oh yeah, ZBrush crashed. So ZBrush crashed. If you know anything about ZBrush, you know it crashed. And I am not that savvy with recording. I kind of do a screen record on my laptop. So I could not get that information that I lost when ZBrush crashed back. So as you can see, I already colored Courage. I did the inside of his mouth. And this is me working on his teeth. I think I do his teeth and his tail. Yeah, it took me a long time to get used to ZBrush crashing. I used to be so devastated losing the work I've already did. But now I know to save it. I saved in there. Quick Sketch. I have it saved in Dropbox. I have it saved in just the Explore folder. Anywhere I can possibly save it, I save it. So at first I wanted his teeth to not look so uniformed, and I started kind of like moving and tweaking them and then carving away at them, but I didn't like it. So I ended up undoing that and deciding on something else. So I basically just make sure I get all the teeth lined up where they actually look like teeth and not just a bunch of squares, and then work on changing them, merging them together, and then work on them, changing them little by little.
Stupid dog!
Right here, this is just me getting everything lined up.
Stupid dog!
And then working on trying to make it look natural.
Stupid dog!
It was me diving in for some more reference images just so I can know how his teeth sit. And then I almost forgot the whole iconic hole in the teeth. So I had to go and grab me a cylinder and make it a lock and key kind of thing.
Stupid dog!
I actually struggled with making the whole lock and key and turning the buoyancy off and still having it work. But I'm getting the hang of it. It's just me making the teeth look natural. I was told his teeth was really yellow, and I was like so convinced that they weren't as yellow as I was trying to be convinced they were. But yeah, they're pretty yellow. Guess I need to start back watching. And this is my finished result of Courage. I really enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Please consider subscribing and liking this video and sharing it.